to today's Sports Center. I'm your host Cheese. We are officially back. It took me such a long time to get back to my regular form, but we are here today, and we have Sports Center once again. This will be mostly a interesting session we're gonna have as the end of the season is coming up. We take a look at the postseason schedule that's coming up, and before we even look at the postseason schedule, we're gonna take a look at the final standings for everyone. And looking at the final season standings, so I'm going to go real quickly. Looking at standings, at the end of the season, the Cadets end up being in first place. J&A kind of botched it for a moment, but you got everything back together, so we'll see what happens. Cleveland ended up 14-6 on the year, best team in the league. Lightning went 13-7. The Angels went 12-8. Steam Warriors at 10-10. The D-backs at 7-13, and the Cowboys, the last remaining team, at 4-16. They are eliminated from playoff contention. But if we take a look at the final scores of the games yesterday, there were some incredible games. First of all, we got the 10-0 victory for Chicago. They beat Colorado. Colorado only had 2 hits in the game, and it just didn't look good. I think someone botched the stats as well for this game. But game 2, it was a victory for Colorado. They split the series against Chicago. Chicago basically needed to sweep to at least get an opportunity, maybe at the 3rd seed. It did not happen. So in that part of it, Pagan had a 3-homer game. They got a grand slam in the bottom of the, actually no, it was the top of the 4th inning. And Colorado managed to win that game 9-4. And so Colorado ended the season 4-16. They were already eliminated from playoff contention with a 200% percentage, which I think is kind of bad. But to end your season with a big win against Chicago was pretty good to kind of spoil their fun of a chance at the 3 seed. But then you take a look at the other games. There were some good ones. The final game of the season, the Angels, they took on the Lightning. The Lightning played against Los Angeles in Los Angeles. It was a game in which Louisiana came in and won 2-0. Warrior had the golden pinch hit and got a 2-run home run, and they ended up with the win. The winning pitcher was Peter. And in game 2, an outside blowout. Both teams were tied up at 2. It looked like it was going to be something. And then as soon as the 3rd inning came around, Warrior got the golden pinch hit. A couple walks were on the board. 3-run home run for Kerbo, a homer for Peter. He had a 2-homer game in that and an 8-2 victory over the other team in the Angels. So the Lightning sweep. And like we said in the final standings, the Lightning are 13-7. So let's talk about what's going to happen for the playoffs. So the playoffs will introduce a wild card game. We've not had a wild card game, I think, since like season 7, if I remember. We had a wild card game. I think the only wild card game I remember was Florida and Montreal, whatever that team was. But this will be the first in a minute. I think this will be the first big test for either of the two teams going at it. So it is the 4 and 5 seed going at it. It's going to be the Steam Warriors and the D-backs going at it. The winner of that game will advance to play. I think it's 1, so 4-5-1. They would play the Cadets, and the Cadets are the best team in the league. I don't know if any of them teams are going to really get the job done, but we'll see. The Lightning and Angels will go against each other, and that game, I'm going to check the schedule real quick. The Lightning and the Angels are going to play on 4/25, and that is April the 25th. That's going to be a best of 3 series at 7. Both games are going to be at 7, a best of 3, and then the World Series will be on the 26th, which is a best of 5, sorry, with the first day being 3 games and second day being 2 more games if necessary. Now, the only problem with this is, of course, is the fact that NWA's World Series is going to be at that time, so JNA will have to kind of fix or so. Maybe NWA probably will have to fix. They already posted the postseason schedule, but we'll see. NWA's times are at 8, so I think it should work out if the games are going to be a little more there. Really, I'll say a little more quick, but we'll see what happens. So the wild card game is today, and honestly, my prediction, I got Arizona beating Chicago. I don't know. This is just my prediction. That's kind of a wild prediction. Remember, I said Arizona was going to beat Chicago in 3. Well, that did not work out. Or sorry, in 4. But I feel like this one may. I mean, if you look at Arizona, they were pretty active, and they did win most of their games at the end of the year. But if you look at Chicago, Of course, they're a powerhouse. They got Joshi. So I'm not going to change my mind. I got D-backs beating the Steamrollers. I'm going to take the upset over the bigger one, but we'll see. Again, the winner of that game plays the Cadets. If the D-backs beat the Cadets, if the D-backs end up beating the Steamrollers, they're probably going to get steamrolled by the Cadets. So we'll see what happens. So let's take a look at the stat leaders. Oh, they don't have any stat leaders, but um, highlight the hitting stat leader wise. I think 13 technically is going to be MVP. He already has 11 walks. He has 33 RBIs. He's tied with LJ in home runs right now with 14. He has 38 hits, more plate appearances. And by the way, they have the RBI lead. They actually have the most RBIs this season. I think combined, they have like 97 RBIs this year. That's a lot of RBIs, yo. They have more RBIs than probably any other team. Um, Somewhere along the way of what 100 and something, but they have 128 hits. It's just a super team. But a lot of people have been saying that Cleveland's not a super team, but watch out. They could be in the playoffs and they could be cooking. So who knows what happens for Cleveland. Most of these guys at least have a 5 average. A 5.06 for a team is kind of crazy. So we'll see what happens. For the RBI total in this season, by the way, 285. So a lot of RBIs. The home runs were 126. So a pretty successful season overall. And we're going to see what happens in the playoffs. My prediction of the World Series, honestly, it's early, but I got Cadets Lightning. I think that's going to be a good World Series. I could see that being probably one of the best World Series in a minute. But that's my World Series prediction. I got Cadets Lightning as my World Series. Wild card, I got D-backs being Steamrollers. All right, we're done here.